Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw number 203, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. First one has got a lot of B's. This is James Bruton's ball bike. And as you see, it's a bike with balls as wheels. Those balls are normally what you'd see probably a juggler in a circus on, but in this case, James has 3D printed all the bits and bobs to turn it into a bike. So it's got motors. I think it's got 4 motors. Actually, no, it's got 5 because he added one for various reasons. I'll let you watch the video. And also, if you do watch the video, you'll notice a hilarious thing where he's testing it out and does like a bit of a drift too much, and then the wheels literally fall off his wagon and the balls fall out, which is hilarious. If you do want to make one of these things, then you can. All the CAD files are available, and also all the Arduino code, which is great. So well done, James. Thank you very much for that. This is DeepSeek R1, and this is the latest AI on the block. Now, if you're following your AIs, obviously your open AIs or your Claudes or your Groks, whatever it is, usually they're either paid for or free, but certainly not open source. So that's what DeepSeek's all about. It is a Chinese AI from a startup. They've actually been around for a while. The R1 is the latest iteration of that. There are different versions of it. This is me asking it how to pollard a tree in the UK, and it seemed to know the answer to that. This is me asking it for some HTML of a ball bouncing inside a rotating square, which is my go-to to see if it can do it. And it didn't, quite frankly. It didn't do a particularly good job of it. It took about 5 or 6 iterations. Every time I compiled the code, it wasn't quite right. But, you know, quite frankly, neither is ChatGPT. I asked it who the president of the USA was, and it then told me point blank that its training cutoff is October 2023, which you probably won't get from any of the other training AIs as well. And then I said, well, does it know normal people like me? And it went, yeah, I know Dino Burbage, and it told me about myself, which is kind of cool. So there you go. Now this is open source. It has 671 billion parameters, and it is available for free. So you can go to the website, sign up, and start playing exactly like I've done there. It is Chinese, so do with that what you will with your data. But other than that, interesting. It's going to certainly ruffle some feathers in the paid AI market. Robots, always cool. Got another robot for you. So this is actually the Beijing E-Town half marathon. So last year they ran the half marathon there, and E-Town is like their sort of innovation town in Beijing, and they had 12,000 people run it, and this year they're going to actually have some robots in it as well. The photograph you're seeing on the right hand side is actually last year when they just had a kind of photo op with a robot running across the finishing line, but this time there are actually going to be robots in it. There are prizes for the people, or all the robots that finish first. Now I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it, because the robot you were seeing just running there on the left hand side has actually only ever run about 7 kilometers, which is still pretty good. It can do about 3.5 kilometers an hour for about 7 kilometers. And then I'm not quite sure what happens after that. It runs out of energy. So it's got to do 3 times more than that to be able to do this marathon. So I guess that's a challenge. And as you can see, it's for national humanoid robots only. So it's for Chinese robots. And this is to show the prowess against they actually specify this in the document that I was reading, which was it's really to show their prowess against the US. So there you go. Watch out for that one if you're interested. Then there might be a robot winner of a marathon, and this might also dictate what the future of marathon running is going to be. Pace setters, for instance, would be interesting. This is the Microsoft Excel World Championships. I usually follow this every year. I forgot this year, it was in December, and I didn't realise the upset in the world that the 3 times world champion has been deposed. So well done to Canadian Michael Jarman for winning the final. So he is now the Excel World Champion. If you don't know what this is, it is quite literally doing Excel at a really extreme level. Lots of challenges, and at every sort of level somebody will fall out and go on to the next round, and you end up with the finalists like this, of which they will be set an insanely difficult task that you and I will not be able to do. I just basically do equals sum and brackets, and I think I'm pretty hot. However, this is on a different level. My friend Kaz usually does this sort of thing, so well done, Kaz, but I just don't get it, to be honest. There you go. But well done to Michael for winning it. Got $5,000. I thought it would have been more, and also got a really good belt, like a sort of heavyweight champion of the world. Everybody else seems pretty pleased. As a whole live stream, it's 3 hours if you're into that sort of thing. This is Hexpand, so this came via Joel. Thank you for that, Joel. I really enjoyed this one. A nice organic thing in amongst all of technology. So as you can see, it is a really interesting way of packing things in a box whilst retaining them. Doesn't matter what shape they are. Uses interesting sort of hexagonal cutout cardboard thing, and you can put anything in there and it reduces waste because you don't need any sort of bubble wrap or those kind of little whatever they're called, the little polystyrene things. But also they've got some really cool designs. So yes, you can get a box, they can do a box for anything, But there's a really interesting one for wine bottles as well, where you pull the hexagonal cardboard and it stretches, and then you kind of loop it over the top of the bottle. It's just really, really nicely done. So like that, that's cardboard innovation. So well done to Hexpand. That is available if you'd like it. Of course it is. You may have noticed the shenanigans going on over in the US with TikTok. That's really aimed at Chinese company and their parent company ByteDance. ByteDance also have a video editing app called CapCut. So therefore the ban on TikTok is also affecting CapCut. So if that disappears, then how will you edit your videos with your mobile phone? Well, luckily Meta, spotting an opportunity, have said they're going to launch Edits. Now what I suspect is they don't actually have an app and they're furiously trying to make it as we speak. But what they've said is it's going to be available probably February, but as of today, when I've taken this screenshot, it says coming soon in March. That might just be the UK, I don't know. However, if you look at the features, kind of interesting. You can video edit with no watermark, so it's not going to lock you to Instagram. You can do AI animation, it can do up to 10 minutes, you can change the background with green screens, auto-generate captions, which is pretty cool as well. That's normally a paid service. You can track your reels, how it's actually worked. There's a dashboard, which you can see on the right-hand side. So if you're an Instagram user, then this will actually have some extra bells and whistles. But if you just want a video editing app on your phone, then this will be probably something interesting. Of course, you'll have to sign up to Instagram, you have to give them all your details, and again, depending on what your moral stance is, giving details to Meta may or may not be a good thing. But there you go, edits for Instagram. Now finally, this takes some explaining. These are chaotic pendulums, these are double pendulums. If you let them loose, they do all sorts of stuff. But broadly speaking, depending on their orientation, if you give them a different color and let them all loose, every pixel in here is a different pendulum, double pendulum in a chaotic movement. And if it, as and when it changes into each one of those four orientations, it changes its color appropriately, you get these really weird patterns emerging out of it, which I thought was amazing. So well done to Drew for this latest experiment. I do actually follow the other ones as well, so they're really cool. But who'd have thought that a double pendulum as pixels would even be interesting to look at, let alone see this emerging thing in the bottom right hand corner where there's this sort of funny blob that always seems to appear somewhere in this chaos. That must mean something. I don't know what that means, but it's fascinating to watch it evolve. The video itself just keeps going and going and going and going, but probably you've got the spice of it really just by watching a couple of seconds of it. But there you go. Who'd have thought pendulums look awesome. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully it was maybe going to share it with somebody. I'll see you next week for number 204.